Hello, everybody, and welcome to October 26th live stream for It's the Goose, It's the Goose. We have an exciting one today. If you'll see, and if you have joined us before, you'll notice that we actually have some things set up here. We're actually connected, and we are going to have a really exciting time today. We've got a lot to go over, a lot regarding the channel, a lot just going on, ending the new year, and some really fun stuff that we're going to be seeing towards the end of the year. A really huge surprise for next year, which I'm so excited to share with you folks, that anybody here who is going to be listening is going to get something that's been months in the making and probably will take a few more months, but I'm so excited to share it. And we're just going to have a really fun time today. It's Saturday, so if you're here, that means you're good people. So I just want to make sure that you folks, I do see we have Loa Lucas Jr. Hello, anyone there? I just want to make sure that you folks can hear me. Let's see, Marcus Blackwell. Well, long time no stream, am I right? Hopefully YouTube doesn't act up this time. And Lowell Lucas Jr. says, yeah, here's hoping. So if you folks can just go ahead and let me know that you can, in fact, hear me, that would be fantastic. We have a ton to go over. So let's see. Aiden Wilson, the Bitter Films fan. Have you heard of Bunny Maloney? I'd recommend it. You know what? I'm so glad you asked that. Let's go ahead and get started. Anybody else can join us later. They can always watch the recap that I'm going to be posting. I have a lot of channel updates, well, we'll see. Why don't we just go ahead and get started? But first, hello, everybody. Welcome to It's the Goose live stream for October 26th. Now I'm doing it professionally instead of just rambling on. But it's all right. We're having a good time already. So let's take a look at what we have coming up next here. So I want to do some channel updates for everybody because it has been a while since I've live streamed. And I want to make it clear why. To be completely honest, I don't have good equipment for it. I have a laptop that is as ancient as can possibly be. So it's too bad because we had that first live interview with Ken Pontac, and it went so well. And then every single live stream after with an interview, the guests were amazing, but they progressively got worse as far as quality, internet quality. So I do actually have them recorded. I have one with In My Head podcast, and I do have one with Jet McPlane. I actually have the entire interviews, which I will be posting at some point, probably in the next, I might save them until December, and I'll explain to you folks why. But I do have them. They're almost completely done being edited together, and they're really fun. So look forward to that. And so I want to just go over a couple things that I want to do, but this is just going to be before I get to your folks' comments here. These are just a few things I kind of want to end the year on strong. So if you folks have noticed, I started doing 2 shorts a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. I hope you guys are enjoying that. What it really is I haven't been doing the live streams in a long time, and I really just wanted to do something more than just the 20-30 minute videos that I've been putting out, because I really enjoy interacting with you folks. It's a lot of fun, and I just want to do more. So that was my idea, to just, hey, in the meantime, while you're waiting 3 weeks for a video, here's a little something so we can kind of keep in touch. And I hope that you folks have liked him. It's really just, I think of a subject. This month was kind of a theme, if you folks have seen him. Cartoon witches, cartoon skeletons, and it was just really picking my favorite things from there. So I hope you guys have been enjoying that a little bit. And, well, we'll get to that later. I want to do more live streams. They don't always have to be interviews, but I do want to keep in contact with you folks, because I do try and comment in the comments a lot. Things kind of can get busy outside of YouTube, so I don't always get to do it, but I really enjoy the conversations, and I really enjoy getting to know you folks. Like, I do know Lowell Lucas Jr., Marcus Blackwell. I know you folks pretty well in the live streams, so it's good to see other people like Aiden Wilson, the Better Films fan. Hello. I am going to be getting to the comments soon, so keep typing away. I do want to read them out. So yeah, anyway, more live streams. I want to keep you folks updated on what's going to happen with the channel, what's going to happen with stuff outside the channel. I'll explain later. And I just like having fun. I just like talking cartoons with all you people. So we're going to do more live streams. I'm hoping maybe one every 1 to 2 months. That's not an interview. Speaking of interviews, more interviews. I would love to do more interviews. I have a great time doing them. If you haven't seen them yet, I have a couple of them posted. Victoria Calamito, who if you folks haven't seen or don't follow her on Instagram, check her out. It's the Oz vlog. She's this Wizard of Oz historian, unofficial, I suppose. And it is amazing because Wicked is coming out right now. So she's on a fully sponsored media press tour, mostly sponsored. And I'm not even the biggest Wizard of Oz fan. When I watched the cartoon for it a year ago, I sort of kind of appreciated it more. I went back and watched the original Wizard of Oz, and it really is, looking at it through a lens now, it really is amazing. It's a really good movie, a really funny movie. But she's right in the throes of it. And so there was that controversy over the poster. And so there's a lot going on with that whole Wicked movie. And so she's a really fun one to follow. But I want to do more things with, we had Jet McPlane in My Head podcast. I actually have me and the purveyor of the online Scooby-Doo museum was supposed to come on. But we kind of got busy in both our lives. So I did reach out to her again. And so hopefully by the end of the year, we'll have her. I was hoping to get her for, this stream or around Halloween, but I'm hoping maybe November we can talk to her because she is a Scooby-Doo fanatic. And I've been wanting to get more fanatics. Like right now, I'm waiting to hear back from a Sonic the Hedgehog fanatic. A fun one, I'm actually waiting on a response about setting up a date for somebody from the Charles Schulz Peanuts Museum. So we can actually have an expert from the Schulz Museum speak with us and answer your questions. So yeah, more interviews next year. That's something I would like. And I think it's something you folks would enjoy because the response that I see from you all and the way that you enjoy interacting, and they really love your questions. Like the one thing that's great about when we do live streams is you folks, you like to chat a lot. And the guests love it. I love it. So like I said, keep chatting away, and yeah, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And the last thing is new videos. So man, we've had a lot of videos this year. I think it feels like a lot of videos. Last year for sure. So 2 years ago, when I started trying to make videos regularly, I think I stopped in October to work on the Fern Gully video, which I think is still my longest video. And it's funny because looking back, I don't think it needed to be 45 minutes. I'm pretty sure it could have been 25 minutes and I still could have covered all the same stuff. But regardless, yeah, so now I've been actually getting videos out on time, which is great. I'm sure you guys are enjoying it every Sunday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time if you're new here, if you don't know. And I actually have already gotten the newest video. It's already in the chamber. It's ready to go. And if you haven't seen, it's going to be The Twisted Tales of Felix the Cat, which is this year I got to a lot of the ones that I've been wanting to do for a long time, like The Adventures of Raggedy Ann and Andy. The Kathy special, which we'll talk about that a little more later, but I've been wanting to do so, more videos every 3 weeks. I hope that you guys have been enjoying it. I don't know if anybody was here from the time maybe about a year or two ago where I was doing a video every 2 weeks. That was wild times doing videos every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, and I would do all the editing myself. But I actually did get an editor starting with the Kathy video. So Geeky, oh boy, I'm going to feel really bad right now if I get it wrong. I know what the, excuse me, I know what the email is and the username are. So I just want to make sure I get it right so I can plug my new editor, which is very exciting. And I know you folks might not have seen a large difference in editing, but that says it's a good thing to me because that means you can't tell that it's not me doing the work and that they're doing a really great job. So I'm going to go ahead and just give a plug here very quickly. Give me one moment while I just pull up the Geek E Media. So I'll go ahead and post a link because that's I believe the business name. But I'll go ahead and post a link, and you can see it in the description of the last couple of videos. But I'll post a link to it at the end of this video in case anybody needs any editing, because she's great. So a huge shout out and a thank you to Geeky Media for editing my videos, and she's going to be editing hopefully for a long time with me. And also new videos. I just wanted to say one more thing. I want to do also, like, I love doing the long form on animated series and animated movies. It's great. I love it. But I also did try a couple new things out this year, a couple which definitely didn't work, which I want to ask your folks' opinion. So I did a couple live action ones. I have done, I did Suzy Q, which people seem to like. That's one of my favorite movies. I did the Even Stevens musical episode, which people didn't respond to as well. And I'm not saying maybe it's because of the quality, maybe it's not. I also tried out the Beaver Fever episode of Angry Beavers. So I'm seeing that people either don't like the specific episodes unless they're like specials, or maybe they also don't like the live action, like maybe Even Stevens wasn't a choice that people really resonated with. So if you folks in the comments want to say, like, did you check those out? Did you not check those out? Because I want to make sure, because, you know, one live action movie got a big response, one of them didn't. So I'm just really curious. I want to hear your folks' opinion on these. Oh yeah, there we go. So I thought it'd be cool. I'm going to read some comments really quick, but I want to also, I figure since I don't really get to interact with you folks often, I give you a couple behind the scenes things for the channel. So let me go over some comments. Let's see here. All right. Have you heard of Bunny Maloney? I'd recommend it. This is from Aiden Wilson, the Bitter Films fan. I have not heard of Bunny Maloney. Tell me about it. If you want to comment, if you want to put something in the chat, I would love to know more about it, because I'm always looking for new things to check out. And actually, you folks have turned me on to a lot of things. Marcus Blackwell actually is the person who got me in touch with Jet McPlane. If you don't know Jet McPlane, she does obscure puppet media. I thought I did obscure movies and shows, but she's doing obscure puppet movies and shows. And she's a really good watch. I check her out from time to time. And so, so Marcus, again, thank you. I'll be posting that full interview soon. But definitely check her out. And your recommendations are always, always welcome. Well, good thing this stream isn't buffering and you're not being cut off. Finally, we may get another normal stream. Fingers crossed. So far, so good. That's why I kind of wanted to do, this is probably my last live stream on this computer. I'm actually in the process of getting a new one. So I'm hoping that, that's why I did it solo, because I didn't want to risk another not great quality stream for you folks. I recommend it for review. Aiden Wilson. Thank you, Aiden. Yeah, tell me more about it. I'll definitely check it out. I have a big list of recommendations people make for me, so that's going to be on the list, so thank you. Lowell Lucas Jr., since it's October, ever thought of reviewing the Beetlejuice cartoon series? Here's the thing. Let me tell you a little bit about the scheduling here. I probably had in April or May, I had Beetlejuice, the series. I was going through the series. I was starting to watch it. I was doing maybe an episode a day, and just computer problems, technical problems. I was especially having at the beginning of the year. It was just really tough to try and put out videos of shows that I needed to watch, and then also watch Beetlejuice for the future one, and start writing the script and editing. And the biggest thing wasn't actually the time it took. It was just the tech problem. So now that I have an editor, now that I'm going to have less computer problems, you're going to be seeing videos with longer series runs. Like right now I've been kind of doing things that are either movies, shorter movies, or shorter series, like 15, 16 episodes. But maybe I'll reveal what we've got planned for January. Let's take a look. But yeah, so anyway, Beetlejuice. I did want to do Beetlejuice. I wanted it to have ready in time for the movie. Unfortunately, I didn't get around to it, but I would love to do Beetlejuice because I've always loved that cartoon. It was There was a couple like horror cartoons or maybe spooky themed cartoons, which some of them I got into, some of them I didn't. I don't know if you folks remember Real Monsters. I liked Ickis, and I can't remember the black and white character's name, the monster's name, but I always hated, and he was always the most unique looking, the monster who would hold his eyes and he just was hairy and had bad armpit hair. I mean, it was so gross, and they were always burping and smelly, and it was just, I didn't like the art. Not that I didn't like the art style, but that art style has always been unappealing to me. Like, I enjoyed the Wild Thornberries, if anybody watched that, but the art style is just isn't my favorite for whatever reason. But yeah, so Beetlejuice would be a great one to watch because I always thought that was a really good one. I loved Lydia. Beetlejuice was hilarious in that. He was funny, but they didn't take away some of his bite and some of his more brash personality traits, which I really respected when they made that cartoon. And I don't know if anybody's seen the new Beetlejuice, but I won't give it away because it's still sort of out in theaters, but it was okay. There was things to like, things not to like. But yeah, so that's the answer for the Beetlejuice cartoon. Can you do Don, this is from Aiden Wilson, Don Hertzfeldt's film It's Such a Beautiful Day, or 12-Ounce Mouse, or Code Monkeys, or Super Jail? These media are obscure but aimed towards adults. So Don Hertzfeldt, I actually wanted to do I'm not sure, I can't remember the title. It's the one where this woman goes back in time and she talks to her younger self. There's a trilogy of them. They're short. They're maybe about 15, 20 minutes, but they're really good. And I really wanted to do something about it, and I watched it and it was great. But the only problem I was having was, what do I say about it? Kind of the fun thing, if you folks saw the Kathy one, was I got to do something different. So when I say new videos, I guess this is kind of going back. I've been wanting to try something different with the videos, not necessarily switching from cartoons to something different or doing computer game reviews or anything, but I've been wanting to review cartoons, but in a different way. So the first one was the Furby video. I didn't want to just, I had this idea in my head for it where I was trying to think, what are Furbies? I mean, we all know what they are, but in lore, in their in-universe lore, what is a Furby? And so I knew I couldn't just look it up and then present my findings, so to speak. Now I'm sounding like an archaeologist, but I couldn't just present it that way. So I also wanted to use the movie because I thought, well, if the movie's going to explain it, it's probably going to be the same thing, so maybe I'll just have more evidence. And they turned out to be totally different. And I thought it was a fun way to still review a cartoon, but also go over this expansive, muddled, sort of bizarre world that these Furbies inhabit. And there was some things I left out too, like in one of the guides, it explicitly states Furbies have no gender. They most closely resemble angels, which, what a strange thing. I understand it's probably some intern writing this or some, not executive, but just some low-level employee who has to come up with this lore. But what a strange equation to make there. So I wanted to do that. That was kind of the first step in stepping away. Not stepping away, but just taking a different look at cartoons. And that sort of happened with the Kathy one, because I'd wanted to review Kathy, but it wasn't enough to just review this movie or, the special and say, okay, well, let's just take a look at the special. Yep, it's drawn like the comic. It's drawn, it's good, it's funny. But I really wanted to examine this relationship because whatever your opinion of the relationship is, to me, it seemed very strange. It's in the way that it's this person who's almost self-sabotaging because they are in this relationship. They know it's bad, and they refuse to get out of the relationship. So it was a review on the cartoon, but also a relationship dynamic. So when I say I want to kind of review movies or these things in a new way, it doesn't mean get away from cartoons, stop doing that, because that's my favorite thing ever. But it just means look at these cartoons in a different way and with the real respect, because I think that is, with the Kathy one in particular, whether or not you like the cartoon itself, if you think it's funny, if you think it's boring, if you like Kathy, if you don't, I think the real meat there is the relationship. I mean, if you took the comedy out of this relationship, if you just explained to somebody, hey, there's this person, they're in a relationship, they've been together for months or years, they have this kind of relationship, somebody would be like, that's the saddest thing I've ever heard. Tell them to dump him. And I'm saying, and it's this funny cartoon, but it really is this human connection that we're watching, just prevented from being too depressing with humor. And so that's sort of the way I want to look at some cartoons. Not everything, because some of them just are really funny or really action oriented or really spooky. But sometimes I think they deserve a little more look. So I hope that that was not supposed to be as rambly as I thought, especially because you just asked if I could review a movie. But that's going on the list. 12-Ounce Mouse, or Code Monkeys, or Super Jail. I'll have to put those on the list. I do want to look at more obscure adult media. I've especially been looking for something scary. Haven't quite found something that's not extremely adult, like an anime like Castlevania or something, but I will explain something to you folks later about that. Do you just review kids media or adult media too? I'm curious. I personally like reviewing both, as I don't care what audience the media is for, as long as it's good and all that matters. Aiden Wilson. I want to actually do more adult media. I would really love to. That'd be really fun. It also just depends too on, I don't want to risk getting any copyright strikes, so I'm a little wary to do anything with a lot of blood or cursing, and I can always mute that. But also I want to be able to have something to say about it. So if there's something, I don't care if it's for adults, if it's for kids, if it's interesting, yeah, 100%, I'm definitely willing to consider it. And yeah, I mean, sometimes it's just a matter of time too. If it's a lot of episodes, if it's, I don't think I'll be reviewing The Simpsons anytime soon, unfortunately, at least not every episode, but it seems like a lot of people got that covered anyway. But yeah, I'd definitely be down to do both, so please make recommendations. Marcus Blackwell, I for one think that the shorts provide better conversation than the videos. Thank you. That's kind of what I wanted to get going, and I usually have my twice a week chat with Marcus on the shorts, and I want to get more conversation. I want to get more ideas on the shorts, but I'll put that in a minute. Aiden Wilson, I remember your first video on Robot Jones. I love Robot Jones. Wow, Aiden, you're a real true, tried and true person right here from Robot Jones. That's still one of my favorite videos because it was at a time where I was still recording on an iPad with iPad headphones, and it still sounds pretty good, and I think the video is a lot better than most of my videos. It's one of those things where, you're so ignorant to how to do things or the right way to do things, you just end up doing it, and it turns out better than you expected. So, Loa Lucas, definitely appreciate the videos. And shorts, have you considered doing more comic strip tunes or even single specials like Hagar the Horrible or even Mother Goose and Grimm? Yeah, so I'm glad people have been enjoying the comic strip one, especially the Kathy one. I've done the Garfield holiday specials. That was my second video. I can't remember if I've done any other comic strip related ones, but they're a lot of fun. Yeah, I would love to do. I've wanted to do actually for a while Heathcliff and the Cadillac Cats, but I haven't quite gotten the time because it's like 60 episodes, which seems strange. I know that sometimes you would get longer series runs in production, but man, 60 episodes of Heathcliff, and I never hear anybody talk about that, not in YouTube online review way, but I never hear anybody in person or that I know fondly talk about Heathcliff and the Cadillac Cats. So yeah, I would love to do more of those. Yeah, absolutely. Marcus Blackwell, what do you think about the new Narnia show for Netflix? I have not seen it. I actually was considering doing the Phantom Toll Booth. That's one. I want to kind of do some more stuff based on books as well. I had a really good time. What was the one I did? I can't remember what it was right now off the top of my head. I'm sorry, folks. But yeah, Narnia would be really cool. But the Halloween Tree, like that one was great because I could compare it directly to the book because I actually listened to the audiobook before I did the video. So I was able to compare, even though it didn't pay off well at all because I wanted to find out with Mound Shroud what he was, and there was only one line, and it was at the end of the book that was different from the movie, and he says something like, "You know what I am," and that was it. But I at least got to listen to a book, so I guess that's good. Crosses off my quota for a while. Let's see here. Sorry if I get on these rabbit trails. Sometimes I lose focus on the main question, so sorry, folks. Let's see here. I'm going to skip around too because I know that there's some other people coming in, so I can't go over every question, but if you want to do it, you can always leave a super chat. I will for sure get to your question immediately right there. Aiden Wilson, have you ever considered reviewing Chalk Zone? You know, I have, and I heard they're doing a reboot, if I remember correctly, or maybe that's Foster's Home. Chalk Zone was cool. It was okay. That was sort of at a point where I was kind of getting out of cartoons, but I liked the idea. But I think I would need to watch it more. I would definitely need to do a rewatch of it. But yeah, Chalk Zone, I remember just off the top of my head, it was fun. I liked the little blue guy, and it was an entertaining art style, and it was a really good idea, which is something I can really appreciate. So Chalk Zone, that'd be a fun one. That'd be a really fun one. But if it's something newer or a little more popular, I think in those cases, and I'm not saying this for Chalk Zone specifically, but I would like to maybe have, something like this where I talk to somebody who's maybe a Nickelodeon fanatic and they're really experienced with Chalk Zone, and I go over some episodes and we talk about it there. So I think that'd be a lot of fun too. Okay, let's take a look. Daniel the Cat Dog and Ren and Stimpy Show Guy, 2012. Hi. Hey, Daniel the Cat Dog, Ren and Stimpy Show Guy, 2012. Welcome to the chat. We're just talking about everything, which is great. So if you folks have anything to say, definitely come through. Ian the Peanuts and Sanrio fan, hello. Hello, Ian. Ian, if you didn't hear, on the live streams I do interviews sometimes, and we are actually trying, well, by me I mean me. I'm trying to get somebody I'm waiting to hear back from the Charles Schultz Museum, so we can have a huge discussion about Peanuts and they can answer all your folks' questions. So keep your fingers crossed, because that'd be a really fun one, I think. We could talk about everything Peanuts, which I have a lot of questions. Okay, let's take a look. Marcus Blackwell. Personally, I'm more interested in animation, but I do like Wishbone, so that video was good. If you did a video on Pee-wee's Playhouse or more classic live action shows, I'm assuming I'd watch. Okay, yeah, that's fair. I mean, Suzy Q wasn't really that popular, but I think it hit a chord where enough people saw it. So yeah, it sounds like maybe live action isn't the direction you folks are enjoying too much. I did want to do a couple of ones, like 100 Good Deeds for Eddie McDowd. That's one I've always wanted to do. And I've also wanted to do Cousin Skeeter. So I figure that kind of is animation because it's with puppets, Skeeter. But it's a long one. It's 60 episodes, so that one would probably come later next year, if anything. Okay, let's take a look here. All right. Any thoughts on Lowell Lucas Jr.? Any thoughts on Scary Godmother TV specials by Mainframe Entertainment? I've never seen them. I've heard of them, but I've definitely heard of them. So I'm going to keep an eye out for that. Let's see here. Ian, the Peanuts and Sanrio fan. Also, there's a Hello Kitty and Friends episode called Mom Loves Me After All. And it's a really beautiful story about family and the feeling of not being loved when a new baby comes to the house. You should cover it someday. Not even many in the Sanrio fanbase talk about it, and I think it's a shame. That's a great recommendation. Thank you, Ian. I would love to do something like that. Something that, might be a cute cartoon, but has a really strong story, or really, evokes a really strong emotion. So that's something perfect that I would love to look at. So I will definitely be checking that out. So I'm going to go. Let's go ahead and say hi to Adrian. Adrian, hello. Suzy Q was popular to me. Way to go. She just released an EP in 2024. Oh, okay. I know she's been working on those Power Ranger comics, but I had no idea she was doing a musical EP. I would love to get her on one of these streams, but she's just that kind of like, I don't know, she's she's beloved by, everybody from Power Rangers and Suzy Q, but man, she's got a great career for her, so good for her. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's go ahead and keep going on this these slides. Now I forgot what's next, but oh yeah, I want to talk to you folks about just a couple unreleased videos I never did. So here's one of them. This is one where this was, I believe, going to be my second video after Robot Jones, but I actually had the script done, and rest in peace. This one, my iPad is totally, completely gone now. But this is the second video I was ever going to release, and I still have the thumbnail for it. It was, if you folks remember when I still did the all gold ones, the all gold title cards, thumbnails, I guess. Cartoon reboots. Why some succeed where others fail. And look, I know the print isn't good, like the text isn't good, and the background, but I think it's adorable. All the little cartoon characters in the bottom there. But yeah, so the cartoon reboots, it's one I've been wanting to do for a while. I know how I want it in my head, but I don't know that it's interesting enough to do. But the general idea is that cartoon reboots, what they are, what specific kind of a reboot is. And yeah, like, so there's some reboots that they're literally, 20 years later when they're made. They're 20 years later when they're made, and they pick up from when the characters left off, still the same age, still the same situations. Or there's somewhere it's 20 years later, and there is a time jump. Or it's like Ninja Turtles, how, all right, that's the end of the series, time to reboot, and it's something completely different, but with the same characters. Or something like Sonic the Hedgehog, where there was Sat AM, the Sonic the Hedgehog Saturday morning, but also Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, where it's totally two different, like, not even the same characters. Or there'll be ones with this different origin story or something. So the main thing was kind of explaining what reboots are, why they work and why they fail, and ultimately what they mean for the franchises in general, and how they're good, like how they can really restart a franchise, how they can branch off, how they can give characters new life, but sometimes how people fear having reboots because even if their character is dormant for like 10, 5, 15 years, if it fails, it's not coming back, which, I think it's an interesting topic. I'm not sure how I would approach it now, but maybe, like, is that something you folks would want to see, like cartoon reboots? I'm not sure, but hey, I'll always keep it in mind. All right, let's take a look. I did have one more. I'm gonna have a quick drink of water if you folks will excuse me, because I've been talking for 33 minutes straight. Literally have not stopped talking. So one moment, folks, and we'll read a couple comments after. All right. Let's take a look at some comments here. We'll go back to Aiden. Oh, yeah, Aiden. Have you considered reviewing video games? If so, I recommend VibRibbon. I would actually like to review video games. I think that'd be fun, but I'm weary about switching every 3 weeks to between videos, like cartoons, and then video games, because I don't know if people would enjoy that. Like, just the same way that with the live action, I don't know if people would enjoy video games. And I've never really reviewed video games. It's something that's a little out of my wheelhouse. I would definitely love to do it. Like, I think it'd be really fun. Maybe I'll do it on a live stream sometime to see if you folks enjoy it. Like, there's a couple games that I would really love, because I like there's some definitely obscure games. I don't know if any of you ever played Nintendo 64. A game that I owned, I know I never bought it, but I think that somehow from a rental store a friend lent it to me and they never got it back, so I feel that they're probably in debt now because of those rental fees. And then somehow I got another copy. So I have 2 copies of this game called Iggy's Wrecking Balls. It was this green iguana, and it's a racing game. It's like a linear left to right up and down racing game, and they're heads, and they're really cool characters. And they have these little grappling hooks that come out of their heads any direction with the analog stick. And you go up and down and you can grab the other characters. It's really fun. It's not the greatest game or anything. It's actually pretty hard. But that'd be a fun game to do because it's so obscure, it's so weird, and it's just bonkers. But I think it'd be a fun one. So video games, you know what? Maybe I'll do a video game one here on a live stream. So if you guys would like to do, to see that, why don't you shoot me some video games? Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, N64, PlayStation. I would love to do that. So why don't we do that? Why don't we take some requests for video games, and then we'll see what we can get to. Maybe by the end of the year. Maybe we'll do one for November, December. So yeah, send me some requests here. Okay, let's keep looking. Whew. I gotta just catch my breath a little bit. Gotta remember to breathe. I don't have to talk a mile a minute. We're not trying to fill the time for anything. All right, let's take a look. Okay. Loa Lucas Jr. For cartoon reboots, it's all about respecting the source material and continuing to add and not subtract from its legacy. So I agree. Of course, you want to pay respect. But it again depends on the reboot. So is this going to be a reboot where, like Teen Titans Go, where it's going to be you're taking the characters and instead of having this overarching plot or this theme, it's just kind of silly adventures? I mean, do you think that's paying respect to it because the character is the same, it's a different tone, and it doesn't try to be anything different or say that it's anything different, but a lot of people don't like it. But I can appreciate it because I think a lot of the jokes are funny, and it's just I know what it is. I'm taking it for what it is. A lot of people are mad that Teen Titans is gone, and they feel like Teen Titans Go took its spot, like they pushed Teen Titans out, which isn't the case. Teen Titans was gone, and this was a way, I think, to say, hey, Teen Titans is still kind of around, but it's just different now. And people take offense to that or they don't like it. But for me, I look at it and I say, well, it's funny. It's supposed to be the most ridiculous, silly comedy, and sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't, but that's what it is. But there's other times, too, where you pay tribute to the source material, like DuckTales, the 2017 DuckTales. I love that one. That's a rare one I watched from beginning to end. And they did things like Magic of the Spell was pretty cool in that one. They had Darkwing Duck, Drake Mallard, and they had the new Darkwing Duck, the old Darkwing Duck in it. And, I'm sure there's people out there that would say that's disrespectful. You can't have two Darkwing Ducks. What are you doing? You can't do that. Or Scrooge wouldn't act this way in the old one. Or, Webby was, very girly in the first one, and now she's the adventurer. So, I don't know. It's that question of, well, what do you see as respectful? Whew. Okay. I'm going to catch my breath for 1 second, and we're going to read some more comments here. I'd love to see a video on cartoon reboots. I would too. You know what? You folks are starting to convince me right now. So, let's take a look here. All right. Okay. So, let's take a look. MSM Lovers Jamboree. Yeah, man. I'm not sure what specifically Yeah, man is referring to, but hey, as long as it's good, then I'll agree. Marcus Blackwell, I have a rather unique idea for a video. Cartoon characters who originally made songs, or were originally made for songs like Alvin and the Chipmunks and the more underrated Spacelings. That's a good idea. That's a really cool idea that I've kind of considered things like that. I did a short, I believe, a while ago where it was best musicians in cartoons. So it's not like, a random song or something, but it's actual musical acts in cartoons, like the Hex Girls. They're a musical act in Scooby-Doo. Or Mr. Wynn in Hey Arnold. So he's a musical act. Dino Spumoni from Hey Arnold, one of my favorites. So that would definitely be a great one. Like I'm wanting to do different things, but that are still cartoon-centric. So that's a good idea. MSM Lovers Jamboree. I hate these new cartoon reboots. You know, some of them stick, some of them don't. I mean, if you told me that Muppet Babies was going to be a popular one, I definitely would have been surprised. Wouldn't have expected that. But hey, people seem to enjoy it. Teen Titans Go is one that's hit or miss. My Little Pony had great reviews. Look at all the Scooby-Doos. Like, all the Ninja Turtles ones seem to be hits. Everybody loves them. Sonic X, that got mixed reviews. The Scooby-Doo ones, Mystery Inc. or Mystery Incorporated, that one beloved by everybody. And then you have Be Cool Scooby-Doo, which I think, honestly, well, this is for me, but I think a lot of people had it, where the art style wasn't quite what it wasn't very appealing, it didn't seem, and I think that turned a lot of people off, but it's really funny from the things I've seen. So, I don't know. I just don't know, those cartoon reboots. So we're going to go ahead and go to the next one. So that's the first unreleased video. And you folks are giving me confidence to make that video, so thank you. So let's go ahead and take a look at the other one, which I had planned. This one was for spring. And yeah, so this one was for spring, and I never got around to it. Or I did have a lot of it written out. Let me actually go ahead and... Oh, never mind. Okay, so I guess I didn't put it on here. So I'll tell you, folks, anyway. It was Peter Rabbit. The Peter Rabbit stories. The 1992 ones. The very classic ones where the whole thing is actually like 8 hours long. It's actually like 8 hours long because it's not just Peter Rabbit. It's also the Benjamin Bunny stories. It's also the other animal stories, like is it like a little mole or a little rat who lives in the catacombs and these bees come. So I wanted to do it just of Peter Rabbit and Benjamin Bunny's story, but I love the art and it's a good story. It's fun, but I just never could find the angle on it. Like that's one of the biggest things when you're working on something, or at least when I am. I want to have an angle that's different. Like the first way, I'll let you folks in on some inside baseball. The way I look at it is I don't want to do something that a lot of people have done. So even if it's something that I enjoy, if I see there's 30 reviews on it, I lose interest. I don't want to do it. Or I might do it, but I want to find a completely different angle on it. And that's why I try to do something with the Kathy one. Or that's why I try to do something with The Princess and the Goblin. Like I wanted to have these angles that I hadn't seen other people do with anything you want to do. I think that's part of being original. And see, remember when I said I lost my train of thought? Oh, so Peter Rabbit, yeah, and I just couldn't find that angle. Like it was a good story. I think it would have been a really fun one, but I just couldn't find the angle. So that's one that I still have here, kind of bopping around in my head, and hopefully I'll get it around by next spring. But yeah, that one's just stumps me. It's stumping me. But so let's keep going ahead. I'll read some comments in a few minutes, but I want to do this too. I want to have requests from you folks. So, and I promise we'll get to some stuff that's non-channel related in a minute. I just wanted to go over this, and we ended up going really long on this, surprisingly, but it's fun. I'm having a good time, and I hope you folks are too. I'll kind of zip through these. So I want to know what you folks, as far as the shorts, want, because right now I'm pretty much just doing my favorite or a theme, like a holiday theme. And I want to do more on that. Like I did one of them where it was that Pippi Longstocking Miyazaki Studio Ghibli fact, where he actually went and tried to get the rights to do a Pippi Longstocking anime, but the original author denied him or didn't even meet with him. Like, I thought that was a really cool fact. So if you folks want more facts, or if you want more, these are a few of my favorite, whatever the cartoon theme is, or holiday themes, I thought it'd just be fun to maybe do something new that you folks would like. And I'll actually give you folks I'll give you folks a little surprise since you're here, and I appreciate you folks being here and sticking with me for 45 minutes. It seems like it's going by really fast, but I'm having a great time. Like I said, I hope you folks are too. So for shorts, I do have a surprise for December, and I still have to get everybody's confirmed, or most people have confirmed, and I just have to get everything by about Thanksgiving. But the theme for the shorts for December is going to be other creators. And by that, I mean, so normally for December, I would do something like, favorite reindeer, favorite cartoon reindeer, or favorite cartoon Santas. What I'm doing instead, though, is I'm getting the people that I've interviewed for the channel. So I've reached out to Tori, the Oz Vlog, In My Head podcast, Jet McPlane. I'm still waiting to hear back from a few others. They're going to be doing the shorts. So you're going to hear Jet McPlane say something, my name is Jet McPlane. This is my YouTube channel, and here are a few of my favorite obscure cartoon puppets. Or In My Head, who's a huge regular show fan. These are a few of my favorite episodes of regular show, or these are a few of my favorite, Rigby and Mordecai moments or arguments, whatever it is. But I thought it'd be really cool to switch it up. Like I want Christmas to be something really, really different and special and fun for you folks and fun for me, so I can see what they say too. And also, December, I'm going to be doing my most requested video from the whole channel that I've ever had requested. The one people keep saying to do. So I can't tell you folks what it is. I can't. It's going to be a Christmas miracle surprise. But it is my most requested one. So if that's any indication, I hope you folks are looking forward to it. Let's see. The other one too was interviews. I said it sort of at the top of the show. Interviews, Marcus Blackwell was super great and gave me a good recommendation to interview Jet McPlane, and that was a great one. And like I said, I'm going to be posting that one soon, but it was really fun, and I want to know who you folks want me to interview and have just like a chat with, and who can answer questions as well. So definitely go ahead, not only reach out to me, let me know, but also let them know too, because I've reached out to a lot of creators and I just don't hear back. And I don't know, sometimes I do it on Instagram and the messages don't filter, or I'll do it by email. They don't get them, they don't check them, they don't respond. But go ahead and reach out to them directly, comment on their videos, let them know that, hey, this tiny obscure channel wants to talk to you about cartoons. Because there's nobody I wouldn't have a conversation with, and the weirder they are, the better, honestly. So, reach out to me, let me know, and reach out to them, let them know. And videos. And I hope you folks know that anytime, I'm going to especially be asking this in December, but please let me know what you folks are interested in having me review, because I love all my stuff, but I love learning about new videos. I love getting new ideas. I love getting to check out new cartoons. And one of the things that I wanted to do here is I don't really go over a lot of new cartoons. I remember I made a video earlier this year about the Garfield movie that came out just a few months ago. And I thought about doing a video on it, but do people really want to see another review of Garfield? So I was thinking that maybe like during the live streams, I can talk about newer movies. Like maybe I can watch one new movie every month or two that you folks request, and I'll talk about it here on the live streams. That way we can all talk about it together, instead of you just listening to my opinion on it. So maybe keep the channel just the way it is, obscure older cartoons, and then for the live streams we can talk about newer ones. So if that sounds something you folks would like, definitely let me know. If there's any videos, and I mean any requests, this is just any video requests. I know that people want me to review Thomas the Tank Engine, or Hello Kitty, or Narnia, or Ralph Bakshi movies. So keep them coming. I promise you, I keep them all on a huge list. I can't get to all of them, and sometimes, time permitting will allow me to make videos of them or not. But I'm hoping next year, like now that I'm getting videos out on time, even a little early, I'm starting work on the next video already, which is great because this video's not even out. So I'm happy to be ahead of the curve a little bit for once. Let me know. That way I'll have more time, and hopefully we'll get more videos out too. Because I'd love to, I still want to do it every 3 weeks, but I'd love to be able to slide in a video in between somewhere, which I think would be really, really cool. And it's something I want to do. I want to make more content for you folks. Unfortunately, it's not my full-time job, but it's my full-time hobby. So I want to do it as much as possible. Whew, okay, take a breather. All right, let's go ahead and look at some comments really quick. Okay. Loa Lucas Jr., I admit, I really love Daphne from Be Cool Scooby-Doo. That is my favorite version of Daphne. And there's been some really good versions. Daphne's been a surprisingly consistently great character over the Scooby-Doo lifetime. And yeah, she's hilarious. She's the best part of Be Cool Scooby-Doo, hands down, from the episodes I've seen with her puppets and everything. So funny. All right. Requested shorts, favorite villains. Yeah. I think I did something like that. I did traumatic villain demises, but it would be a good one for villains too, because I love villains. Like Professor Screw Eyes from We're Back. He's a great villain, and he doesn't really, it's just I remember, so he wanted to give the dinosaurs, he wanted to make them scary again, because that's how he got his power, from the fear. And then at the end, when he's saying, brother, take me with you, because the only thing I fear is being alone. And then all the crows come and envelop his body, and they leave, and he's just that screw. I don't even know what that means. Like, I wanted to do something on Professor Screw Eyes for a while, but there's so little information, and I'm pretty sure there's no literary adaptation or any book. So I'm just very confused all the time about I know he was the brother to the good guy, but he's a really mysterious character. I'd love to know more about him, but I wonder what the headcanon, the consensus headcanon would be of him. Let's see here. Requested shorts from Aiden Wilson. Obscure characters from popular media. I have thought about doing something like that. I actually had one. I don't know if I did it or not. It was favorite one-off cartoon characters. And one of them that I really wanted to do was his name Slippery Pete? I can't remember his name, but he was from The Simpsons. It was the episode where Krusty, it's one of the early seasons where Krusty fakes his own death. Krusty the Clown. And they say, Bart and Lisa go looking for him at the marina, and they go, hey, have you seen this guy? And it's a picture of Krusty on a balloon, so his face is all rounded. And then he goes, oh yeah, I think it was Slippery Pete, something. And then it's just a little miniature version of Krusty with the same face, and he plays the accordion. And he's never seen again. Why would he be? But it was just such a funny gag. That's one of my favorite one-off characters. So I'll definitely have to go ahead and do that one. Here, why don't we do this? Why don't we do a question right now? I'll go ahead and ask it here, and you folks answer it. So if you guys can give me, let's say 2, because I'm going to read all of them. Okay, so here we go. Should we pretend we're doing a real short right now? Okay, here we go. Let me get warmed up. Let me get the brain going to the mouth. All right. I'm going to try and improv one really quick. And should I do it in the silly voice too, the silly announcer-ish voice? All right, here we go. Okay. All right, here we go. Halloween is one of the scariest holidays ever, but you can still have fun watching a great Halloween special. Here are a few of the Livestream channel's favorite Halloween specials. What do you think? Isn't that almost bizarre and sociopathic how I don't even mean to do that voice when I read. So like this is my voice pretty normally now. But for some reason when I read, my brain just turns into like my voice just shifts differently, and I should really just read like this. I've actually been trying to more recently. The Raggedy Ann video was really bad as far as that went, but the Felix the Cat one, I think you guys we're back on track as far as, being normal. So I'll wait for you folks to answer that. Your two favorite Halloween specials, because I want to check out what you folks have. So we'll go ahead and keep going on this though. Now I totally forgot what I had on here, and I want to see more. Interviews. Is that it? Is that all the ones I had? No, I promise you. Oh yeah. So here we go. So I wanted to do just a couple of them. I guess this could have been the question that we asked for for the live stream short. But yeah, scary characters. And if you'll notice, Little Goose has a scary pumpkin mask on it. But I was curious about your folks' scariest characters. So I'm going to be doing that one actually on Halloween, but I wanted to just give you folks two of them that always freak me out. And I want to hear your two favorites too, because I think it'd be really fun to compare what scared you as a kid. So the first one, and I don't know if anybody else was freaked out by this, but this was a character that I'm pretty sure I had a nightmare one time about it. Here we go. Oh, not this one. Okay. But this one was definitely creepy. If you'd ever seen the Ichabod and Mr. Toad movie from Disney, Ichabod Crane, of course, goes into town and he's hitting on this woman, and her boyfriend doesn't like it, so he tells Ichabod the legend of the Headless Horseman. I think that's how we found out anyway. And basically what it was is this, from what I remember, this guy got his head cut off, and he had a pumpkin, like a flaming glowing pumpkin as a head, and he would throw it at people. And at one point in the story, Ichabod Crane is trying to go somewhere, and the Headless Horseman chases after him, but he can't cross the bridge out of town, and so he runs Ichabod Crane out of town. And I won't give it away, but that was always so freaky. And one of my favorite things in animation and cartoons, I don't know why, but I love pumpkin-headed creatures. That's why I kind of did the goose with the pumpkin head. But like, I love the Headless Horseman because he's headless, and what does he really need the pumpkin for? Like, what purpose does it serve? I haven't really gone into it too much, but I know it's like a weapon. He uses it as a weapon when he throws it, but does it also act as a head, or is that his head? He can just move it around. Like, why does he carry a pumpkin head? And there's the one from Billy and Mandy, the jack-o'-lantern, where he's got the scythe. I love that. That's so cool. So I always thought that this character was scary, and I don't know, there's something about back in the olden times when you didn't have, like, if you notice now, like, whenever there's a horror movie or something, they always try to figure out what it is, or they're able to find out the legend of this. And here, it's just kind of hearsay, and there's no real exploration into who the character is, like, or what the lore is. It's just Ichabod Crane runs across this ghostly specter, and this is it. Now he's just, trying to run away from this haunting creature. So let me go ahead and read a few comments here. Let's see here. Whew. Okay. Aiden Wilson. Let me see. Oh wait, hold on. Let me go to Marcus Blackwell, because he had a. There's a lot of good ones here. Okay. All right. Loa Lucas Jr. Another request. Favorite treacherous characters. That's a great one. Votes for Gollum. That's a good one. And if I end up using your idea, I'll definitely go ahead and be posting it with the short. So definitely, you folks, put them on here because they might be used. Aiden Wilson, have you heard of the obscure Cartoon Network anthology series from the 2000s, Sunday Pants? I have not, but that sounds cool. I always like anthology series. There's not enough of them in cartoons, to be honest. So I'll definitely go ahead and put that on the list. Loa Lucas Jr., have you reviewed more regular show episodes? No. No, and I've been thinking about it a lot lately. I've seen a lot of clips. It's getting me really hyped. I actually sat and watched like a compilation, and it's really cool. It's a really fun looking show, and I want to do it because I do plan on having the In My Head podcast back, and I want to actually have that experience with them. So It is on the docket. Trust me. It's going to be sooner than you think. Have you heard of Disney's Nightmare Ned? I have not. That's going on the list too. I will have to look that up. Marcus Blackwell, I have an idea for a final short for Christmas. Each of you contribute to a short where you can give examples of cartoons or puppet shows that best exemplify what you think Christmas truly means. That's a great one. I am kind of looking to have a penultimate, or not a penultimate, just like a final short of the year. So maybe it'll be something like that. That's a great idea. Lowell Lucas Jr., have you considered talking Batman the Animated Series with Sarah Lake? Luke and wife Mary do a podcast and really love talking tunes as well. Sarah Lake. Okay. Batman the Animated Series, great one. Probably my favorite Batman movie is Batman Mask of the Phantasm. There's a lot of great Batmans now, but nothing ever got to... I remember seeing blood, and I remember seeing things in that movie like where she takes the Joker into the mist, and from what I remember, they end up dying. But it went and did it in a way that wasn't explicit or traumatic. It kind of was one of those things where it went without saying. And I would love to see that movie again. I'd love to watch the Batman animated series again. That was really good, but I'll have to check them out. Sarah Lake. Okay, I'm going to look at that. Thank you, Lowell. Marcus Blackwell, idea for an unfortunately obscure cartoon, Angel Wars Guardian Force. Okay, I'm going to look it up. Thank you. Lowell Lucas, I'm going to recommend you continue to review what you enjoy on TV that's no longer on the air, much like your Blazing Dragons or Wizard of Oz series videos. Never stop. I mean this when I say I will not stop unless I die. I mean, if I do stop putting out videos, I'll either let you guys know, and if I don't, it means I'm dead. And that's not a joke. I genuinely mean that. So I love doing this, and I love you folks. So, but yeah, Blazing Dragons and Wizard of Oz. I gotta say, I'm a little disappointed with those two as far as how they not perform, but just I love those cartoons so much, and I thought there was going to be more people who had watched them as well. But maybe it's just a little too obscure, which I'm fine with. So the people who did appreciate those, and I don't mean the quality of them, but just who were lucky enough to watch them on TV or experience them at some point, it's cool to have that bond with people. Just a thought from Adrian. What would cartoon characters be doing in 2024? I'm not sure what you mean. Do you mean like in the real world, or do you mean for a short? Go ahead and elaborate on that if you're still here, Adrian, because I'd love to know what you mean. Okay. Oh, yeah, Lowell Lucas Jr. He plays for, is it Handsome Pete? Is that his name? Okay, he plays for Nickels on the Docks. Darn it, you gave him a quarter. Now he'll play for hours. That's awesome. I love that. One of my favorite characters, and he does nothing but play his little accordion. I think that's great. Use that voice if you feel up for it. Trust me, I wish I didn't have to do the voice all the time. It just naturally comes out. I have to fight it. The Felix one is more natural, sort of like this. But I don't know what happens. For some reason, not when I read anything else, anywhere else, just the videos for this channel, my voice somehow, and my cadence and the reading just goes into that. So, next year we'll fix it. That's the New Year's resolution. Let's see here. Marcus Black. Oh, well, hold on. Aiden Wilson. The Moonanites from Aqua Teen Hunger Force are my favorite obscured characters from popular media. I've never really watched Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I've seen a couple episodes. It's cool. I think it's funny, but I just haven't had much experience watching it. Okay, so here we go. Here's one from Marcus Blackwell. My favorite Halloween special growing up was definitely Spookly the Square Pumpkin, but I also liked both Scary Godmother shows as a kid. Spookly the Square Pumpkin. What is that? I'll have to look that up. Aiden Wilson, the gorilla from SpongeBob scared me as a kid. That's a great one. I remember him unzipping from people or people unzipping from him. But the one I really remember, I can't remember, well, I guess I don't remember it as well. But he either rips SpongeBob or Patrick in half. And that's really funny because, of course, there's not going to be any guts or innards spilling out. But it's just, he rips the character in half. It's just really, it's just so bizarre and so weird, but I love it. It's really funny. Yeah, that's a good one though, because it kind of comes out of nowhere. Everything's animated, and all of a sudden this human gorilla comes up, and it's just so nothing to do with the cartoon, and all of a sudden it's there, and it wreaks havoc, and they're all afraid of the gorilla too. Like, sometimes they're nice with the gorilla, but the gorilla is consistently violent or consistently scary in every appearance he has. I love that. Lowell Lucas Jr. Two favorite Halloween specials: Angry Beavers fighting their favorite movie monsters, and of course Treehouse of Horror 5. I don't remember what the fifth one is, but the early seasons are great. I did when I was doing the short about my favorite Halloween specials, I think it was, I was looking for clips for the Treehouse of Horror, and I had totally forgotten that they used to open up with Marge. I think it was like the first 2 or 3 years, how they opened up with her saying, you shouldn't let your kids watch this. It's too scary. It's too this, that. And I love that. I kind of wish they would go back to it. Like the Treehouses of Horror now, I haven't seen them in a couple of years, but I actually used to follow up with The Simpsons for a long time. Probably up until maybe 2 or 3 years ago. But yeah, I like that simpler style. And now it's still good. There's a lot of good Treehouse of Horrors, but man, those first early seasons were really great. Like, I remember one of them where Homer it's supposed to be the Omega Man, where he's basically the last man on Earth, and everybody else becomes these kind of white-robed, these pale zombie people in robes. And Homer's the last man on Earth, basically, and he's parked behind Milhouse's dad at a stoplight, and he's honking, he's going, "Hello," and he gets out of the car, and he tells him to move, and it's just Milhouse's dad's skeleton in the seat, and Homer punches him, and the skeleton breaks, and Homer goes, "Ha, still got it." Like, that's that's one of my favorites. I love that. Okay. Let's see here. Marcus Blackwell, I can't say I was scared by any cartoon characters as a kid. A few years ago, I found some puppets that disturbed me. Some of the Rotten Trolls from Roger and the Rotten Trolls. Man, I think that I am somewhat familiar with obscure cartoons, but sometimes you folks throw things at me that I've never heard of. What is this? It's Roger and the Rotten Trolls. I have no idea. I'm going to have to look that up because I've never heard of that. Scared me as a kid, Lowell Lucas Jr. says. The green, vengeful golem from Rankin Bass. He was desperate, angry, deranged, and struck at Frodo and Sam with such ferocity and a boulder. I haven't seen that in a long time, but yeah, that was at a time where kids' movies still, especially something by him, they could be anything and still be shown to kids, which is great. It was so fun. Let's see. Fun fact about the Headless Horseman. Marcus, I love fun facts about these things. He was a Revolutionary War soldier whose head got taken off by a cannon blast. That's why he keeps riding and hunting for his head. The pumpkin is a substitute. Thank you. Yes, I'm pretty sure that's right. That's so great. Wow, I want to look up more into that lore, because that's really interesting. I feel bad for the horse too. So he got his head blown off, and I don't know if this is a horse from the Netherworld that's guiding him, or if it's his horse from battle, because I would kind of feel bad for his horse to be stuck in the afterlife with him. Let's see. Yes, Marcus, I did see the recommendation for the final short. We did discuss it. Might be a little behind. Aiden Wilson, have you heard of Making Friends? No. Unless you mean in real life, then still no. But no, I have not heard Making Friends. The obscure YouTube web cartoon, The Misfortune of Being Ned. No, I have not. All right, is it related to the other Ned, Ned show you recommended? Loa Lucas, dude, you got to do a video on Ichabod, not only for the Headless Horseman. Fun fact, as a child, I loved the story about Ichabod Crane. Loved it. And, I was a young kid, and I had loved it so much. Guess what I went as for Halloween as a young child that year? Yep, Ichabod Crane. I don't know why wanted to be Ichabod instead of the Headless Horseman. Like 1,000 out of 1,000 times now I would pick the Headless Horseman, but I think I remember, being in the little tights and the knee-high pants, and I think they're called knickers, and a little colonial hat, and everybody's like, "Oh, are you supposed to be George Washington?" I'm like, "No, I'm Ichabod Crane." But I was such a silly, goofy doofus. Let's see here. Marcus Blackwell, the best Treehouse of Horror skit was The Raven. Yeah, where Bart was the Raven. That was a great one. I don't remember much about it, but that's like an iconic Treehouse of Horror. Loa Lucas, but when the dramatic colors changed in the background, this was borrowed from Cinderella with a lot of other influences. Do you mean like borrowed as in influenced by, like you were saying, or do you mean the actual colors were borrowed? Because that'd be interesting. I would love to know that. Even the girl from Bones and Ichabod fought over was basically an older Cinderella. I haven't seen it in a while, so I'd have to go back and check. Roger and the Rotten Trolls, Marcus, was a 1990s show from the UK about a kid who becomes king of a small community of mischievous but mostly well-meaning trolls. Okay. Trolls are something that we don't really have a lot of over here, or in the US anyway. I feel like there's not a lot of troll stuff. I feel like that's more of a European thing. Trolls and fairies. Not that there's anything against it, but just a interesting little observation, I suppose. But yeah, trolls. Okay, I'll have to take a look at that. I'm always up for stuff like that. Let's see here. There used to be an early CG Headless Horseman shown on Fox back on 1999. This from Lowell Lucas, that explained his origins and revealed it's a haunted Brom Bones continuing to tradition as he tells his kids before writing. Okay. I'm gonna have to look. I might just do a deep dive on the Headless Horseman, honestly, because now I'm just getting interested. Like, is it this Brom Bones? Is it the Revolutionary War guy? I'm gonna have to see it at some point. All right, Adrian. Just as a thought, 90s cartoon characters. Imagine where we left them. Hey Arnold, Scooby Doo. What their characters? Oh yeah, okay. So kind of like, where are they now? That'd be a fun one. I would do something like that. Maybe I'll use that. That's a cool idea. That's fun. Yeah, where are they now? Okay. Yeah. I like that. You folks are giving some good ideas today. I like it. Let's see. I don't think we have the... Oh, yeah. Here's the other one. That was always freaked me out. And yeah, I definitely had a nightmare from this one. If any of you folks saw Rugrats, this one definitely gave me a nightmare one time. I specifically remember. So the plot of this episode was that Angelica, loves being doted on. She loves being the queen of her home, getting all the attentions, the cookies, the treats, the gifts, running things with the babies. And her parents tell her that they're pregnant. And it's, Angelica begins to wonder what life's going to be like because her parents not ignore her, but they're busy with the baby. They're busy, getting everything ready for the baby to come. And Angelica feels left out. And from this scene, I think she got put in the closet with a tray of cookies or a tray of something. And in the episode, she has a tray of cookies. Or not tray, sorry, in the episode, this is her little brother, but I can't remember exactly what it is, but he starts to get very big, and I remember him slobbering like somebody was eating food into the microphone, and yeah, and he was big, and I think this is where he takes her cookies, and I don't remember exactly. He just had this gummy mouth. You can see his mouth. He doesn't have teeth, so he's just slobbering on this lollipop. And I think he eats her cookies when she's locked in the closet alone. And he was just horrifying. I remember having a specific nightmare from that. And yeah, he was just I don't know why. It was just, for some reason, he was just like, maybe how big he was, but he was still like an infant in his mind. Yeah, and I wouldn't have been surprised to have seen him eat eat Angelica. But there was also one too. I wasn't afraid of it, but I remember the characters in the show. If you remember Chucky, who was afraid of everything, there was an episode where he was afraid of what dust bunnies could be, and I remember they were these shaggy-haired, dirty little rabbits that lived under the couch. But I specifically remember that episode because I'm pretty sure it had what was it? I'm pretty sure that it had 3D glasses. Like you could watch it in 3D. There was something like that. I don't think it was like Smell-O-Vision where you had a magazine, but I'm pretty sure it was 3D. And I had always regretted as a kid missing out on not having 3D glasses for that because I was a kid and I was excited to see, you know, to see that in 3D at home. And really quick, we got Adrian Wilson. All right, I'm feeling something. Feeling tired. Might go to bed. Good night and bye. Aiden, thank you so much for coming out. I'm glad. I hope you had a good time. I hope we'll see you for the next one. Let me know if you folks like starting at 4 to 6, because I figure there's going to be some East Coast people. And there's a bit of a time difference. But, hey, if 4 to 6 works, Pacific Standard, or you want 3 to 5, you know, you folks let me know. Let's see here. Okay. Loa Lucas, I remember the Dust Bunnies episode where you got a Smell-O-Vision card to smell the terrible smell that could make. Okay, so it was Smell-O-Vision. I think there was, I don't know if it was that one was also 3D or if there was a 3D Rugrats episode, but it was Smell-O-Vision. Okay. I'm not going crazy. I'm not going too crazy here, but yeah. Night, Aiden, we appreciate you stopping by from Marcus Blackwell. All right, nice. What a good sport. What a good sport you're being about that, saying good night. But yeah, so those were two of my scariest characters, and I'm curious what your folks are. Like, I know that you were saying that there weren't really many that scared you, and the Gollum one, but there were some scary characters that I did like. I don't have a picture of it, but Mickey Mouse in Runaway Brain. So if you folks haven't seen it before, it was a short that is probably one of my favorite Disney products ever. Like, my favorite Disney movie ever is Mickey's Christmas Carol, and that's because I think it's the first, and at least major, starring introduction for Scrooge McDuck, who obviously plays Scrooge in the Christmas Carol. And man, that one was just so amazing because it was told like it didn't know it was a cartoon almost. Like a lot of the same way people love The Muppets Christmas Carol for Michael Caine's acting in it, where he takes it seriously. And, you know, anybody could have been saying, oh, it's The Muppets, you know, who cares? It's just a bunch of silly cartoon characters. Yeah, of course it's cartoon characters, but you still give your all. And that's how I felt for... Great, now I just forgot which movie I was talking about. Man. Okay. What was it? Can somebody give me a reminder really quick about what the... Oh, Runaway Brain. Okay, thank you. So yeah, so I'll get back to that. But yeah, so Mickey's Christmas Carol was great because the tone was so unapologetic. I remember when he went back when Scrooge went back to see him and his love, and how their relationship deteriorated over time, and how regretful and full of sorrow he was. And it could have just been something to easily gloss over. It could have been something to just, you know, not matter, or play it, you know, downplay it. But they really went all out with it. And then, of course, the scariest part is when he sees the Ghost of Christmas Future, the equivalent, which is Pete, you know, Disney's Pete, and he's in a robe and he's basically playing death, but he takes the hood off and he's got a big cigar, and Scrooge is asking, oh, who are they burying? And Pete goes, you. And I think from what I remember, he knocks him into the grave, and then the grave turns into the pits of the fiery netherworld. And it's just, you could never, ever do that. And then when I think they also show Tiny Tim, like Mickey is putting Tiny Tim's cane at his gravesite, or Tiny Tim passes away. Those are three things you will never see in a Disney movie. I mean, in a Disney movie, maybe like a Pixar movie, but you're not going to see that from you're not going to get that from Goofy. You're not going to get that from any of the cornerstone characters again. So that's the first one. That's my favorite all-time Disney movie. And the second one is Runaway Brain and Noah Lucas Jr. I love Mickey and Runaway Brain. Came out on my birthday. Mickey was literally Taz, as he too was played by Jim Cummings. I find it funny and special that Mickey's Christmas Carol featured very little of Mickey, and Scrooge stole a show and cemented ducks as popular Disney TV shows. Boy, you said it. If you want to see an era for ducks, look at the 90s and 2000s, and even the 80s. Darkwing Duck, DuckTales, Quack Pack, The Mighty Ducks, which is a video that was supposed to come out this year, but hopefully will come out next year. It was so weird. How many other... I don't know why that franchise, and I don't mean cartoon franchise, I literally mean franchise, the Mighty Ducks hockey team. How did they get a Mighty Ducks live action movie, a sequel? I don't know that there was a third one, but there was like a TV reboot or a TV movie that came out a couple years ago on streaming, I believe. I think it was a TV series. And then it also got a cartoon show about anthropomorphic ducks that fight in space and play hockey. So how did a hockey team spawn those totally different directions? I don't know, but it's nothing short of incredible. But so the Ducks definitely ruled the 90s, at least, and 2000s. And Count Duckula, and that's not even Disney, but Runaway Brain. So for those who haven't seen Runaway Brain, check it out. It's amazing. So basically what it is Mickey and Minnie are supposed to go on vacation. Mickey gets captured by a mad scientist, and he switches his brains with Pete, and in this one, Pete is this enormous Frankenstein's monster. And he's this enormous Frankenstein monster, and he is running around, and Mickey goes into Pete's body with his brain, and vice versa. And Mickey is just this drooling, snarling psychopath, and he finds Minnie. And I love the scene too. Like, you would never see this, I don't think, in a Disney. Maybe this. But she's looking at bikinis for their little Hawaiian getaway, and it's very small, and a drooling Mickey comes in, Pete as Mickey, and she goes, "Oh, Mickey, you can't look, and I just love that. I think that's adorable. But yeah, Mickey is just in this. He looks creepy. He looks scary, and all these things. It's just great. It's so fun. Like, Disney used to have some pretty traumatic characters, and some pretty traumatic death scenes, and pretty grown-up stories. Let me go ahead and take a look really quick here at let's see, Noah Lucas Jr. Did you know the evil doctor who made the runaway monster was Dr. Frank and Ollie, named after the Disney animators? Yeah, and I think he pops up, I think, not just as a doctor, but as a few other roles in those Disney cartoons as well. And was played by Sideshow Bob. Oh, Sideshow Bob's Kelsey Grammer. I did not know that. Very cool. Very cool. I like that a lot. But yeah, so Runaway Brain, that's such a great classic one. At least the Mickey loves Minnie. Even being tricked to swimming to a beach with her photo. That's the ending of it. That's really funny. That was a really good one. And I kind of wanted to bring something up too as well. I don't have slides for it, so I apologize in advance for anybody watching. But those are such great cartoons that never really, well, for one, they're not heard of ever again. Not much anyway. But the thing that I found interesting here was, one of the topics I wanted to discuss was how 2020 is going to be a very busy year for cartoons. And I mean that in a good way and a way that I question. So, for those of you who aren't familiar, Inside Out 2 made, I think, over $1 billion. And I'm not being hyperbolic. I think it actually made over $1 billion, which is great for the animation industry. There's, I don't want to say been a gap, but it seems like there hasn't been a lot of enthusiasm to go see cartoons out in theaters, which is fine. I get it. I don't go to the movies very often at all. I wait till it's on streaming, or I wait till it's out. And, that definitely proves there's an audience for movies, and I'm definitely surprised that Inside Out 2 was the movie to, break that $1 billion seal, but hey, that's fine. That's okay. But I think that's sort of reinforced this trend that's going to be coming in 2025, where it's going to be sequels. And I don't mean just your normal, all right, here we go, the second part of this movie. Because now, as we've seen with a lot of movies, everything needs a trilogy, but these are past the trilogy point. I want to go over just a couple, so here's the sequels. We're going to get a Mufasa movie, which is going to be to the fully CG Lion King movie, which, pretty cool, okay. We're supposed to get Shrek 5, which, okay, Shrek 5. I don't know if it's going to be a reboot. I've heard it's going to be a reboot, but it's going to be the 5th in the franchise. Toy Story 5 is supposed to come out, which I've seen every one of those Toy Story movies. The first one was good. It was genuinely good. I really liked the characters. Woody could still be mean. Buzz was still kind of oblivious and good-hearted. But as it went on, it definitely, I feel like the corners kind of got rounded with the characters. Woody wasn't as sarcastic. He was sarcastic in all the movies, but it was more good-natured. I like that there was a little bit of edge and meanness to Woody, a little bit of vindictiveness. And then Buzz is just super cute and cuddly now. And a lot of people like it. But after Toy Story 3, man, they had the perfect place to end it. And they just went with the 4th one. And I don't know who saw the 4th one. I ended up seeing it because I was trying to be open and give it a chance. And it was, to me, I would probably put it last in all the Toy Story movies. As far as how I would rank them. And there's supposed to be a 3rd Frozen movie as well. And a new SpongeBob SquarePants movie, which I don't think it's going to be released theatrically. But now these SpongeBob movies are becoming almost franchises. They're almost becoming these yearly movies, which I don't know how to feel about it, because I feel like they're not worthy of, not that they're not worthy of movies, but they don't seem like movies. A movie to me, if you're making a movie of a cartoon, it's this big event. These don't feel like that. These feel more like these are our yearly special we put out, which is fine. Say that it's a special, but to make a movie, and especially when you hear animators or somebody say, well, okay, take the Simpsons movie, for example. Okay, we they made the movie in 2010 or something, a long time ago. And they said, we want to make another one, but it just takes so much time. It takes so much effort and so much money and this, that we just don't want to do another one yet. And it's, at this point been over 10, 15 years since the movie, but you don't have to make a movie. The Simpsons has let's just say 15, 16 episodes a season now. You can just do that. You can just make a story within 16 episodes. You're going to have more than an hour and a half or 2 hours of time in just 4 episodes alone. Just have a 4-part special or a mini-series, and then do what you want with the rest of the season. But it just, it just seems, I don't want to say counterproductive, but it just seems odd that everything, I mean, I guess with The Simpsons that's in particular, but is anybody clamoring for, I don't mean to say this in a way, but it's just, I don't think there's a lot of people out there. I think there's exhaustion. Like if you look at the Star Wars movies, people were really excited for the third, sixth, seventh movie, The Force Awakens. And, people had mixed reviews on that, and they were excited for The Last Jedi, and then people didn't like it. And then the last one came out, and people really didn't like that one. And now it's sort of this thing where they have The Mandalorian and all these, these animated ones and these other spin-offs, and people just don't want it anymore. And I worry that's going to happen with these other cartoons, because look at The Wild Robot, right? The Wild Robot, I think, came in second at the box office, and it might be great. It might be the best movie ever, but I don't know that it lit the box office on fire. And, I've seen some ads for it, and I'm sure it'll be coming out on streaming soon, but I worry that these sequels are getting pushed out because studios are afraid to take chances. And like with the movie like The Wild Robot, again, I don't know how much it cost. I don't know how much it made back. I don't know how much profit it got or how much it'll end up with. But you get a movie like The Wild Robot, and I don't know anybody that was really excited for it. And then you're going to have a fifth Toy Story movie, and I guess the companies say, well, it's going to be a lot more, we're going to have a better chance. They're just afraid to take a risk. But then you see the risks they take with Wild Robot, and then you say, well, there's justification. You can't say that, well, if they made more original movies, then people would watch them, because then they don't. And then you say, well, I don't want to watch another sequel, and then Inside Out 2 makes $1 billion. So I understand the trepidation studios have, but it's not that interesting to me, these sequels. And I don't know, maybe I want to know from you folks, are these sequels interesting to you? Let's take a look here. We'll go, though, Lucas Jr. From what I have heard, Disney wanted to grab people's attention after Runaway Brain were turned off. Okay. However, over the years, Runaway Brain became a beloved classic. I agree. And you can do something like that. Like, Runaway Brain, what I love about it is it's still Mickey, but he's different. Like, I like the Mickey that they have now in the animated online shorts, where he's kind of a brat. He is kind of mischievous. He can sometimes be, like, he can yell at people. I like that about Mickey. That's the kind of Mickey I want to see. So you don't have to have him as the main canon. Like, that doesn't have to be Mickey forever for everybody. Like, if you want to push out the smiling Mickey with his, hands behind his back, like the old classic one with his foot up that Walt Disney drew, like, do that. Make him the most sterile version is probably the Disney theme park one, that kind of Mickey. Go ahead and do that if you want. But also give people another option, like, okay, maybe this new Shrek movie that's supposed to be a reboot-ish, if it is supposed to be. I can't remember, to be honest. I'm sorry. But wouldn't it be great if he was a little bit different? Like, if, maybe Donkey was... And I get, this is about the whole reboot discussion we had. You don't have to make Donkey, this edgy character now who is brooding all the time. But don't you want to see something different? I mean... Unless you're going to tell a really big story. I mean, look at 5 Toy Story movies. 5 of them. Don't they feel... Didn't the first one feel like its own thing, and then the second one felt big in its own way with the addition of, it had some new characters, it had some... But the fourth one, I saw the fourth one and compared to the third one, the third one wrapped up nicely. The fourth one just felt... It felt like just stuff. It felt like what a TV special of Toy Story should be, not a movie. And I don't mean that in a harsh way, but it didn't have those same stakes. It wasn't a story that needed to be told. And it felt more like, instead of having to have a story to tell with these characters that needed to be told, it felt like this is an adventure they had also. Like, it felt like, I don't want to say a second thought, but it didn't feel necessary. And I worry about, I'd rather have a movie that misses on the mark with some, like, okay, let's take a look at, like, we had The Princess and the Goblin that I reviewed a few months ago that I went over. Did that movie hit everything perfectly? Like, you can look at Toy Story 4, let's say, and I think that's an example of a movie that probably hits all the right notes. Like, it has the funny side character, it has the the sidekick, it has the emotional beats, it has everything that you need, in a movie. And then you have Prince and the Goblin, which the animation ranges from exceptionally gorgeous to confusing and sometimes downright ugly. And you have, you don't have the quipping side character. And you have some things where the story, like, kind of dead ends, like when you have the grandma and the string, that the string doesn't really need to be involved, even though I understand what they were going for, but I don't think it was as realized as it should have been. But I would tell you, completely honestly, I would rather watch The Princess and the Goblin than Toy Story 4. Because, and this isn't, I feel really bad I feel like I'm all, being negative here. But what I'm saying is, I would rather watch Prince and the Goblin because I would rather take a risk with something that I know is going to take a risk. I would rather watch something that might not be perfect, but I'm going to remember it. Like, the only reason I remember Toy Story 4, I saw it once, and I feel like I remember it more from the commercials than anything else. I feel like I remember it more from the advertising, the posters, the poster of, Woody standing with that little spork character, rather than The Prince and the Goblin, where I could tell you everything that happens because, I remember how gorgeous it looked. And I remember the funny things that, the grandma, who was very mysterious, like, it didn't go anywhere, but I still think about it. I still think about, oh, that was cool, the string. I wonder if this would have been, if this could have happened with it. So there's definitely things out there that, I mean, the point was, it's tough to not do a reboot because, because you kind of have to, because that's where the money's at, or a sequel. But I think people are tired of seeing that. But people also don't want to see, the wild robot, because what is it besides? It feels like it's a new IP, but that does the same old tricks. If that makes sense. Like, it feels like, okay, this is a IP we haven't seen before. I don't know if it came from a book or anything, I have to say, but it feels like something new that's old. Like, I remember seeing in a preview the skunk sprays in his face, and it was done in such a way where you could see it coming from a mile away. And it felt more like a calculated movie moment. Like, instead of saying, oh, wouldn't it be funny if the skunk sprayed in his face? Like, if that's what the intention was, I think that's more honest and genuine than what it seems more likely to be to me, where it is, okay, and then there has to be a joke here. Okay, what joke? Okay, well, what characters do we have around? Okay, well, we have a skunk. Okay, perfect. We're going to go ahead and have the skunk spray him. Okay, and then what? So it feels more like that. And again, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm not trying to knock anybody's hard work. It's just, I'm more just saying, I'm tired of the sequels, and I'm tired of the reboots, but I also am not interested by anything that's new coming out. Like, you, in the 90s, when you had Disney versus Don Bluth, of course you were in a golden age for Disney for the first half of the 90s, but you also had The Secret of Nim and American Tail and Land Before Time, these movies that they weren't Disney. But then you started to know the Bluth name, and it was exciting. And you felt like, wow, this is something different. This is, if I want something that's not in the Disney vein, or even just because this Bluth movie looks good, I'm going to go see that. So I'm curious, what do you folks think? Like, do you want to see more sequels? Do you want to see more reboots? Do the non-reboot sequels to the original movies Do they interest you or excite you at all? Let me know. I have to do one thing. I have to do one thing for my computer really quick. Give me 2 seconds. I'm hoping to hear from you guys, but give me 1 second. All right, thank you folks for your patience. Let's go ahead and go read some comments here. All right. Lowell Lucas Jr. Man, Disney is running out of ideas. Hollywood in general. Ever since WB admitted to catering to franchises instead of making new IP, it's sad. Yeah, and the sad thing is, a lot of the really great IPs that are coming out that are new are starting out as independent features, or they're getting, they're getting on Netflix, or they're getting on Hulu, or they're finding these really smaller avenues, which is great for them to find a broader audience. But I can't really name off the top of my head a new IP that I've seen from anywhere. I mean, I'm going to say a new IP. I don't even want to say, like, I would say non-Pixar, non-Disney, non-anything, because not that they've had a lot of them, but you could say something like Despicable Me. But even then, that feels, at the time, to me, it felt like an old IP because, again, it's the same tricks. You have the Minions, who I know people love them, but it feels like in line with all those silly Disney characters, those sidekicks that we've had before. Flounder or Sebastian, or the snowman from Frozen, who I know is much later, but it just is in that long line, that really long line of side characters. Okay, whew. Okay, sorry. When I talk, I forget to breathe sometimes. Adrian, another Smurfs movie coming out in 2025. Another one. Is it going to be Smurfs such as the Smurfs, like with, oh my goodness, Neil Patrick Harris? Like, is it going to be a live-action Smurfs movie? Or is it going to be the Smurfs movie that's totally 3D animated? Because just visually, I would like to see that. But I don't understand. People really like the Smurfs, I guess. I am familiar with them. I know, Gargamel and Papa Smurf, but I mean, I guess it was a weird time where people were really into that live action. Who was it? There was, oh my goodness, what was it? Of course, we had live action Smurfs. Oh, live action Alvin and the Chipmunks. Those things, there were 3 of them, and then there was like 2 Smurfs movies that were live action. I just don't know who saw that, and I get that people wanted to take their kids, but did the kids love the Smurfs enough where they wanted to see them again and again? I haven't seen the animated ones, so I would actually be interested in checking those out, but it's amazing how huge of an IP Smurfs became from essentially out of nothing, like out of nowhere. I don't get it personally, but that's why that's why we're on Toy Story 5, I guess. That's why we're on a 4th Smurfs movie and a 5th Shrek movie. But to be fair, the Shrek movies, I saw definitely the first one's a classic. Second one I think is pretty good too, from what I remember. And I think the 4th one, yeah, haven't seen them. Once a baby is involved in a movie or a franchise, it can be quite a shift, quite a dramatic shift in the tone I particularly enjoy. So, hey, that's just me though. Lowell Lucas Jr., I'm clamoring for a new thing, but not something safe and drowning in uncreativity, or uncreatively. Yeah, that's the same thing. I mean, that's why I was saying, Despicable Me, like, it felt new, I guess, for people with the Minions. But to me, it felt old because it is just like every Disney side character. It's every hilarious, like, I want to see a Disney movie like how we had in, Mickey's Christmas Carol. I want to see a movie where I understand the tone was different. How about a movie where there's no quipping, no characters who are no characters who are hilarious? How about just a movie, a cartoon movie about just people without one-liners or animals or whatever you want it to be? I'm just asking. I just want something different. I understand comedies for animation are pretty much the only thing that sell now, but it'd be nice to at least have maybe a special where things didn't always have to be so hilarious or always so, always the same. All right. Zootopia 2 coming too. All right. Well, I have not seen Zootopia. I heard it's amazing. So maybe, if you folks still do want me to see a movie and maybe in November, December, I'll watch it. And maybe we'll do like a little, you know what? Maybe we'll do a little, a review for it. Maybe we'll do, instead of a video, like a posted video on the channel, maybe we'll do a live stream review of it. And that way, when I start talking about it, you folks can comment. I think that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, that's a good idea. By you or by me. Well, we'll both have credit. Yeah, that'd be a good one to watch because I always hear people talking about it. That was I made a short, movies I haven't seen, and it was Utopia and a Studio Ghibli. Spirited Away, I think it was. My Neighbor Totoro. There was a couple of them. Let's see here. Loa Lucas. Aside from Ducky, Bunny, and Bo Peep, I didn't care for Toy Story 4. It didn't need to be made. Just a cash grab. I, too, would prefer the Goblin and the Princess. Yeah, and the same thing, too, about, when you have... It feels like a lot of the characters in there were characters... Like, I could not stand the Key and Peele characters in that movie. And not because I don't like Key and Peele. They're amazing. But it just felt like we're going to put Key and Peele in this movie. We're just going to make them Key and Peele, essentially, in stuffed animal form, which is fine. But it wasn't interesting to me. And I kind of wanted to talk to, even though I got sidetracked again, about just about like celebrity voice actors too. Like I was thinking about it, and I wonder how much. I understand there is a significant bump, like when you see a celebrity's name on a poster, but does it really matter for a franchise that, like, because, okay, let me ask you this. Scoob, when that came out, you had Zac Efron, you had, as Fred, you had Will Forte as Shaggy, and the other people I can't remember, I'm sorry to them. And they had those celebrity voices in there, I think, because they didn't have faith in the product, right? Even though Scooby-Doo's a pretty huge IP, I don't think they thought that they could sell a movie without big names, without, with Matthew Lillard as Shaggy and Frank Welker as Fred and so forth. But you look on the flip side, and I understand that argument. Well, we need a name on the poster. Okay, fine. But look at Despicable Me. How often do you see Steve Carell's name on the poster? I mean, granted, the movie's mostly the Minions with the advertising, but I don't think that a movie really is that dependent on a big name, like a big voice, as people think. Or at least the studios think. Like, I think a Scooby-Doo movie would be really big if it's really good. But that's the thing with the movie. It just has to be really good. And, I went over this, I think, one time before about how they kind of put the cart before the horse and we're trying to make a extended universe. But you're doing a Blue Falcon movie and a Captain Caveman introduction in a Scooby-Doo movie. If you're not gonna get these two other franchises if the original product's not good. So I don't know why they keep subjecting themselves to that. I think just focus on the story, focus on it being a really good Scooby-Doo movie, because I don't think anybody went to the original live-action Scooby-Doo for Freddie Prinze Jr. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that was a huge selling point, or Sarah Michelle Gellar. but I'm pretty sure they went because one, it was a pretty novel thing to see a live action Scooby Doo movie, and two, it was good. Even though even though Scooby Doo did look a bit odd at first, but now it's pretty beloved. Like people love the way Scooby was animated. Yeah, so Loa Lucas Jr. I love the idea in early trailers of the wild robot, but once they added voices, I was turned off. It could have been something Unite like the series Primal. Not familiar with Primal, I'm sorry. Oh, Unique, sorry. Didn't see it. I'll have to check that out, though. I love the CG Smurfette Village movie, but the first two movies, and even the Chipmunks movies, were terrible and hard to look at. Man, they were ugly. They were strange. And I think the last, definitely, aside from like Roger Rabbit, the last live-action cartoon mix movie I can think of that was amazing, or that was not amazing, but that was good, that I really enjoyed, was the first Sonic the Hedgehog movie. That was a great movie. I had a lot of fun with it. Not a big fan of the second one, but the first one was so fun. And you know why? It's because, one, I mean, Ben Schwartz, he's famous, but I don't know that anybody would know him outside of really big comedy or Parks and Recs fans. And he was so great as Sonic. He was so charming. He really, you could tell he cared about the character. He tried, which, you know, isn't always the case with people who come in for voice acting who aren't natural or professional voice actors. And it turned out amazing. And it was really great. And yeah, if you want to see a good one, check out Sonic the Hedgehog. Okay, Loa Lucas. Before long, there's going to be an Olaf movie, or even a Flounder movie. It's only a matter of time as they already milked Timon and Pumbaa. Yeah, they did. Yeah, I mean, there's been spin-offs of characters before, or like DVD extras where they have the side characters go on an adventure or something. I don't know if any of you ever saw the Shrek DVD feature where Shrek is angry and he goes, "Hey, I know what you're thinking. Ogres can't rap." I mean, sometimes it's just so ludicrous that you can't help but think it's funny. But yeah, I mean, there could be. But, you know, to be fair, there was the Timon and Pumbaa, you know, Lion King 1.5, which... Sorry. Sorry about that, I guess. Talking for an hour and almost 2 hours straight. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Almost 2 hours straight, and I finally had my first cough attack. I'd say that's pretty good. No, Timon and Pumbaa. As far as everything... as far as everything is concerned, I would say they've made out pretty well. I mean, look at the Lion King 1.5. I mean, not a huge box office. There we go. Okay. The last seven minutes might be a choker because I got something stuck in my throat. But the Lion King 1.5, it wasn't a great. Okay, we're gonna take a quick second. Okay, sorry about that. You know, you got a tickle in the back of your throat, and every time you talk, it just keeps coming up. That's where we're at right now. I love that we didn't actually have a problem streaming this time. It was just right at the end of the stream that it all happened. But I'll take that. But the Lion King 1.5, not a huge box office draw from what I remember. It wasn't bad, but it just felt... It felt like it would have been a cool... you know, if you're watching it on TV, like a special. Like, I don't think it needed to be released in theaters. I think it was just... I don't know if it was a major release or not, or limited release, but that's one of those things where it would have been like, hey, you know, if you want to debut the Disney Channel, play that. I'm sure that'd get a lot of people in there. Or if you want to just have a fun little special, do that. but I don't think you needed to have it theatrically released. But it wasn't bad. And the other thing they had, which I've also wanted to do, was the Timon and Pumbaa show. If you ever saw Disney Channel, that was a good one. I remember the Adventures being good. Like it was a fun show. It was on one of those Disney Channel lineups, and I think it was one of the ones that premiered earlier, and then they bought it for reruns and would play it on the channel. But my favorite part from those, and I've wanted to do it on the channel, was the songs they would do. And I remember the two specific ones were, or I guess the one that I can remember off the top of my head was "The Lion Sleeps Tonight." So it's basically a music video they would do at the end of the show. Like one of them would be, one episode 11 minutes, and the other one would be a second one, and it would be, or maybe a 2 or 3 minute segment at the very end when they needed to fill time. But it would be like they sing "The Lion Sleeps Tonight," and it's a music video, and they're being stalked by a lion in the brush. It's really cool. I highly recommend looking it up. It's just fun. And that reminds me, one more thing I didn't release. I really wanted to do a video of it. I still should, probably. Man, what is it called? I'm going to find what it's called really quick, because it's really cool. It is the Ed, Ed and music video. Let me see what it is called. Ed, Ed and Eddie music video. Okay, so it is called Incredible Shrinking Day, and the animation is so cool. It's totally different. It looks just completely different from anything you've ever seen in Ed, Ed and Eddie, and it's just a music video. It's just some guys recorded a song, some professionals, I suppose, and they made a music video, and it was just like a short little bumper in between cartoons on Cartoon Network. And I wanted to do a video on that for a long time, but don't even remember how I got there from this. Oh yeah, because we were talking about the music videos with Lion King 1.5, and Lowell Lucas Jr. says Lion King 1.5 was DVD release. Okay, but I swear it came out limited release on, but maybe not. Personally, I prefer the show's origin of the two, as Timon defeated a giant cobra with Pumbaa's help. Yeah, I always loved the cartoon. That was one of those Disney cartoons where it was, you have Rescue Rangers, great reboot, by the way. Timon and Pumbaa, Tailspin, Darkwing Duck, DuckTales, Mighty Ducks. I mean, there was just a murderer's row of great cartoons at that point in the 90s and late 80s and early 2000s. It was just something special. Something special, really. But there we go. All right, well, we've got 2 minutes left. If anybody has any last comments or any last questions or any last recommendations, I would love to hear them, because that was a really fun time. I mean, we went for 2 hours, and we had a lot of people come in, come out, a lot of great comments, and I had a blast. So I just want to say to everybody, who was here and who showed up, thank you so much, because I've been meaning to get to live streaming again. We're going to have more interviews, and, if you missed anything as far as what's going to be happening in the future here, definitely check this video out, and I'll be posting it soon. I actually did get the whole thing recorded, so I'll probably post this in between now, or when the Felix video comes out tomorrow at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and then I'll probably give it a week and then post this video, and then another week and the next video, which is going to be exciting. So let's see. Lowell Lucas Jr. Speaking of music videos, did you like the other Cartoon Network music videos like Jabberjaw's "Me and My Friends Get No Respect" or even El Kabong Song? I do remember. I think I remember the Jabberjaw one, but I do remember when they would have like these sort of cartoon confessionals. These sort of cartoon confessionals where it would be. I just remember one specifically where Fred, he was into Daphne, and he, and I guess Velma blew up his spot somehow, and he was like, "Oh yeah,
that's what I want, like a girl with glasses. Thanks a lot. Like, he was very mean. And that was at a point where Scooby-Doo still wasn't exactly back in the public's good graces like it had been. Like, it was still in kind of a rut. Like, and that was right, I think, when Scooby-Doo, Johnny Bravo, and Scooby-Doo Blair Witch was coming out. But yeah, no, those cartoon bumpers were always great too, especially the Cartoon Network ones when you saw all the characters interacting with each other. Like, they've always been really good about that, and they were always good too. There was one game, I don't know if you folks ever played on CartoonNetwork.com. I would love to do actually a live stream about cartoon video games. But there was one on CartoonNetwork.com, and it was an RPG. It was kind of like mostly a fetch quest game, but you would play as, I can't remember who it was. It was something like, Double D from Ed, Ed and Eddie, and you would go around like one of the stages was an island level, and you had to interact with all the other cartoon characters, and they were these adorable little sprites. So you'd be Double D, and you'd go up to Courage the Cowardly Dog. He's like, you have to get to a different island. He goes, oh, I would love to take you on the boat, but I can't go without my sunscreen. And you have to go find the sunscreen, but you have to get it from, Robot Jones. And he's like, oh, I'll do it if you give me some oil. And then you get the oil, and then you can, you get it back. But yeah, cartoon games would be a good one. So I'm going to read this last one from Mr. Lowell Lucas Jr. Well, I want to thank you for your time and everyone's amazing questions and facts. Till next time, y'all. Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween to everybody this Thursday. Make sure you're safe, and hey, if you go as any cartoon characters or something fun, send them, and maybe we'll post them. Post them in the community post if you're comfortable, or the next live stream. But I really want to thank you folks for coming out tonight. I can't believe that it actually went off without a hitch. We didn't have any technical hiccups. The only hiccups we had were me choking in the last 10 minutes. But hey, that's better than we've done the last couple times. So next time, will more than likely be an interview with somebody. So get your questions ready. I hope everybody has a safe, fun Halloween rest of your weekend. And yeah, have a great night. Thank you again. And Felix the Cat, Twisted Tales of Felix the Cat's coming out tomorrow, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So give that a watch, and we'll see you next time.